let's talk about our schools. Are they actually preparing our kids for the future? Or are they stuck in the past? That's the big question we're diving into today as we try to figure out what a 21st century classroom should really be. You know, Nelson Mandela once said that education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. I mean, think about that. It really is the foundation for everything, isn't it? And honestly, it's the perfect way to kick off this whole conversation. Okay, so if education is this super powerful weapon, we have to ask, are we aiming it at the right things? Is it designed for the challenges of today's world, or is it still set up for the world of yesterday? That's the real problem we're going to get into right now. So to figure out where we need to go, we first have to look back at where we came from. And you might be surprised to learn that the basic design for a lot of our schools, well, it's actually a relic of the industrial age. Seriously, think about it for a second. The bells that tell you when to switch subjects, students sitting in neat little rows, the whole focus on doing the same thing the same way over and over, that whole system was perfect for training factory workers. It was designed for a predictable, routine world. But let's be real, that world just doesn't exist anymore. And that's where we hit the big problem, the huge mismatch. The world has changed at a lightning speed, right? But our schools, they've been kind of jogging to catch up. So now we've got this massive gap between the skills we're teaching and the skills kids actually need to make it out there. I mean, just look at this timeline. It shows you how insane the pace of change has been. We went from the industrial age to the information age, and now we're in this hyper-connected global world. And the skills you needed to succeed in each of those eras, totally, completely different. And the challenges we're facing today are, well, they're on another level. We're talking about huge, complex issues. You're not going to find the answers to these things in the back of a textbook, right? They require a whole new way of thinking, of working together, of analyzing things. And hey, this isn't just about solving the world's biggest problems. It's about getting a job. The workplace has completely changed. Companies today aren't looking for robots who can just follow orders. No way. They want people who can think critically, who can communicate their ideas, who can creatively solve unexpected problems. And that's a massive disconnect from an education system that's often just about memorizing facts. And this quote just nails it. We've got to shift the focus. It can't just be about remembering stuff for a test anymore. It has to be about taking that information, collaborating with other people, and using it to solve actual, real-world problems. Okay, so how do we actually fix this? How do we close that gap? Well, thankfully, people have been working on this, and there's a new approach gaining traction. Let's dive into something called the 21st Century Learning Design Framework, or 21CLD for short. So what is 21CLD? Think of it like a toolkit, or maybe a recipe book for teachers. It's not just some random idea. It's based on some really solid research from a big project called Innovative Teaching and Learning, and it gives educators a clear, step-by-step way to design lessons that actually build the skills we've been talking about. And at its heart, it's about a huge shift in the whole philosophy of the classroom. The goal is to move away from that old model, every student for themselves, working in silence. Instead, we're trying to create a space where students are actively working together to ask questions, to explore, and to build knowledge as a team. All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. What are the building blocks of this framework? What are these essential skills that 21CLD is all about? It all comes down to just six core skills that researchers have pinpointed as being absolutely, non-negotiably critical for anyone to succeed in the world today. And here's what they are. First, knowledge construction. This is about going way beyond just memorizing facts. Then, collaboration, learning how to genuinely work together. Next, real-world problem solving, tackling messy, authentic problems that don't have easy answers. Then we have skilled communication, self-regulation, which is all about managing your own work, and finally, using ICT for learning. And that's not just about using a computer, it's about using technology to create something new. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds great on paper, but how does a teacher actually do this in a real classroom with 30 kids? So let's talk about how this theory gets put into practice. The secret sauce really is a tool called a rubric. For each of those 6 skills we just mentioned, there's a special rubric. And here's the key thing. This isn't for giving students a grade. It's a tool for the teacher to look at their own lesson plan and ask, hey, is this activity actually helping my students develop this skill? And this is super, super important to understand. The numbers you see on these rubrics, they are codes, not scores. It's not a grade. A 1 doesn't mean the lesson is terrible. It just means that for this specific activity, that particular skill isn't the main point. And you know what? That's totally okay. Not every lesson has to do everything. And to make it even simpler, the rubrics use this decision tree logic. A teacher can just walk through a few yes or no questions about their lesson. Does the task require collaboration? Yes. Okay, move to the next question. No? Then you stop and assign the code. It's a really straightforward, logical way for them to analyze what they're doing and maybe tweak it for next time. So what does this all lead to? Well, it completely changes the role of the teacher. They're no longer the sage on the stage, the one person with all the answers. Instead, they become more of a guide, a facilitator. They're basically building knowledge with their students, side by side. So let's leave you with this final thought. This future that we keep talking about, this fast, complicated, super connected world, it's not coming someday. It's here, right now. And the real question for all of us is, are we actually teaching our kids the skills they need for a future that has already arrived?